Jennifer Lopez. In the episode Fat Butt and Pancake Head, South Park introduced one of its harshest celebrity parodies, Cartman's hand puppet, Jennifer Lopez. The puppet becomes famous for singing taco-flavored kisses, receives a record deal, and even steals Ben Affleck from the real Lopez. The gag plays on stereotypes of Latina identity, while mocking Lopez's career and relationship at the time. When the real Jennifer Lopez discovers the imposter, she tries to destroy it with a chainsaw, further humiliating her character. Reports later suggested Lopez was so angry that she fired employees who joked about the episode. Trey Parker also recalled that at a Hollywood party, Lopez shoved him without saying a word, reinforcing that she took the parody personally. The parody did not critique her acting or music directly, but instead targeted her image, her cultural representation, and her high-profile relationship. By presenting a puppet as more successful than her, South Park attacked the very foundation of her celebrity persona, Richard Dawkins. South Park focused on evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins in the two-part storyline, Go God Go and Go God Go 12. The episodes begin with Mrs. Garrison refusing to teach evolution, which prompts Dawkins to step in. Instead of simply portraying him as a scientist, the show depicted him forming a romantic relationship with Mrs. Garrison, a trans character. The story escalates into a bizarre future war between atheist factions. Dawkins later admitted on Reddit that he disliked the parody intensely. His exact words were that he was buggered if I like being portrayed as a cartoon character, buggering a bald transvestite. He further explained that he would not have minded if the parody had made a serious point, but in his view, it did not. This reflects his frustration that the satire targeted his personal image rather than his scientific arguments. For someone known for rigorous intellectual debate, being remembered for a crude caricature undercut the authority of his public reputation. Steve Irwin. The episode Hell on Earth 2006 featured Satan throwing a Halloween party where deceased celebrities and infamous figures attended. Among the guests was Steve Irwin, who had tragically died from a stingray attack just weeks earlier. His character appears with the stingray still embedded in his chest, insisting that he is not in costume, but actually himself. The timing of this cameo drew immediate controversy. Irwin's widow, Terry, said she was devastated by the depiction and feared their two young children might see it. She explained that the joke had no cleverness to it and existed purely to shock audiences by exploiting fresh grief. The parody ignored cultural mourning periods, when public figures are typically treated with sensitivity after their death. For many viewers, the gag crossed a line by targeting someone beloved for his wildlife conservation work. The backlash illustrated how South Park sometimes prioritized boundary-pushing humor over empathy, even when families were still in mourning. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. In the episode The Worldwide Privacy Tour, South Park satirized Prince Harry and Meghan Markle shortly after their move to North America. The storyline portrays the couple relocating to South Park while loudly declaring their desire for privacy, even as they parade around the neighborhood with banners and megaphones. The contradiction reflects real-life criticism they faced for conducting multiple high-profile media projects, including their Oprah interview and Netflix documentary, while simultaneously asking to be left alone. The parody exaggerates their behavior by showing Harry knocking on neighbors' doors and demanding attention while shouting about his right to be ignored. Reports in British and American press claimed that Meghan was upset and overwhelmed by the episode, and that the couple considered legal options, though no lawsuit was filed. Public polling soon showed their popularity declining in the United States, even dipping below Prince Andrew in one survey. The episode captured and magnified the tension between the couple's stated intentions and their visible public actions. Honey Boo Boo and Mama June. South Park targeted reality television in the episode Raising the Bar, with Honey Boo Boo and her mother Mama June used as examples of excessive and unhealthy lifestyles. Honey Boo Boo is portrayed as overeating junk food like sketty and butter, a mixture of pasta and margarine, and drinking large amounts of caffeinated energy drinks. Her mother enables these behaviors and treats them as normal. A disturbing sequence shows Honey Boo Boo receiving a pig's heart transplant, presented casually as if medical interventions were simply another part of the family's bizarre life. The satire emphasized how reality TV encouraged spectacle over responsibility. When asked about the episode, Mama June admitted she disliked it and called it trashy. While she claimed she did not take offense to being portrayed as overweight, she stressed that the show represented her family in an unflattering and degrading way. Her response revealed that even those accustomed to public scrutiny could be stung when their personal image was distorted for satire. Tom Cruise. The episode Trapped in the Closet centered around Scientology and used Tom Cruise as its primary satirical target. In the episode, Stan is mistaken for the reincarnation of Scientology's founder. When Stan critiques Cruise's acting as not being on the same level as Leonardo DiCaprio, Cruise becomes distraught and locks himself in a closet, refusing to come out. The title and visual gag allude to long-standing rumors about Cruise's sexuality, while also mocking his association with Scientology. Other celebrities, such as John Travolta and Nicole Kidman, appear and plead for him to leave the closet, but he continues to refuse. Reports later suggested Cruise threatened lawsuits and pressured Comedy Central not to re-air the episode. Trey Parker and Matt Stone explained that they avoided explicit claims by using the literal closet joke, which could not be legally challenged. Despite his objections, the series continued to mock Cruise in later seasons, reinforcing the association between his name and the parody. Carlos Mencia. In the episode Fish Sticks, South Park used comedian Carlos Mencia as a secondary target alongside Kanye West. The premise begins with Jimmy accidentally inventing a simple but clever joke. Do you like fish sticks? Then you're a gay fish. The joke spreads rapidly, becoming a nationwide craze. Mencia is depicted as claiming authorship, despite his reputation for stealing material from other comedians. When Kanye does not understand the joke, he blames Mencia and violently confronts him. This portrayal reinforced an existing controversy surrounding Mencia's career. Fellow comedians had long accused him of plagiarism, and the South Park parody cemented the perception of him as a joke thief in popular culture. In a later interview, Mencia admitted he initially found the gag humorous and wished he had been asked to voice himself. However, he admitted that he underestimated how deeply the episode would affect his reputation. The parody magnified existing criticisms, turning them into mainstream ridicule that damaged his professional image further. Paris Hilton. South Park mocked Paris Hilton in the episode Stupid Spoiled Whore Video Playset. The storyline satirized celebrity culture by presenting Hilton as vapid, promiscuous, and reckless. She markets products such as skank perfume and a children's playset modeled after her infamous leaked video. In the episode, nearly all the girls of South Park idolize her, with Wendy being the only one to resist. Hilton even buys Butters from his parents, renames him Mr. Biggles, and dresses him in a bear costume. The episode culminates in a grotesque contest between Hilton and Mr. Slave, designed to dissuade children from idolizing her. Paris later admitted that one particular scene, showing her dog being shot, made her feel physically sick. In her memoir, she argued that refusing to watch a cartoon about her dog's death should not be viewed as evidence that she was messed up. South Park co-creator Matt Stone publicly disagreed, claiming her calmness actually proved the opposite. The parody targeted her brand, her fans, and her identity simultaneously. Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand was parodied in the first season episode Meghan Streisand. The plot begins when the children discover a mysterious artifact, which Streisand desires. When she obtains both pieces of the artifact, she transforms into Meghan Streisand, a giant robotic version of herself, with a weak spot on her nose. The children mock her appearance and her singing before she rampages through South Park. She is ultimately defeated by musician Robert Smith, who transforms into a giant moth creature to stop her. Streisand later told Mirabella magazine that she disliked the portrayal, criticizing it as unnecessarily negative and harmful to society's culture. She questioned whether shows like South Park contributed to increasing cynicism and hostility. Trey Parker and Matt Stone later admitted that, unlike most celebrities they satirized, Streisand was one they genuinely disliked. This admission explained the harsher tone of the parody, which targeted her reputation directly and presented her as destructive, overbearing, and fundamentally unlikable. Kanye West. The episode Fish Sticks placed Kanye West at the center of one of South Park's most memorable storylines. The plot revolves around a simple pun. Do you like fish sticks? Then you're a gay fish. While nearly everyone in the show finds the joke obvious and hilarious, Kanye is depicted as unable to grasp the meaning. His inability to understand the joke becomes the central gag, highlighting his ego and reputation for taking himself too seriously. In the episode, Kanye obsesses over disproving the joke, claiming repeatedly that he is not a fish. His frustration escalates to violence when he attacks Carlos Mencia, who falsely claims credit for the gag. In real life, Kanye reacted strongly, referencing the parody in his music. He rapped about South Park writers and the fish stick joke in multiple tracks, prolonging the association. Instead of ignoring the parody, his defensive response reinforced the mockery, making the gay fish joke an enduring part of his public image. Bob Saget. Bob Saget became a target in the episode Cartman's Mom is Still a Dirty Slut. The boys watch America's Funniest Home Videos, which Saget hosted at the time, and South Park portrayed him as painfully unfunny. His on-screen jokes are depicted as awkward, repetitive, and irritating, leading the children to groan and insult his performance. Later in the episode, the parody intensifies with exaggerated impressions of his voice, mocking him as a comedian without real talent. In interviews, Saget admitted that the parody hurt him but also said it felt oddly validating. On Reddit, he explained that it was like being roasted, painful, but also a form of recognition. He noted that he appreciated the small detail of Stan's grandfather laughing at his jokes, which showed the writers had layered the parody carefully. This episode captured how South Park could distill a long career into a single harsh caricature, leaving Saget remembered more for the insult than his work. Schneider. Rob Schneider was lampooned in the episode The Biggest Douche in the Universe through a series of fake movie trailers. Each trailer announced increasingly absurd roles, Schneider as a stapler, then as a carrot, each framed as a supposed comedy hit. The parody exaggerated his tendency to take on quirky, lighthearted roles in films that critics often dismissed as formulaic. By showing him literally transforming into objects, South Park reduced his career to a running gag about predictability and silliness. Schneider later admitted he was not offended by the parody itself. Instead, what bothered him was the audience reaction. He recalled that people wanted him to feel humiliated by it, and their eagerness to see him hurt revealed how toxic criticism could become. While the parody did not damage his career significantly, it shaped how viewers remembered his body of work. The satire worked less as a direct insult and more as a cultural stamp of his reputation. Redheads and Ed Sheeran. The episode Ginger Kids focused on Cartman, spreading the false belief that children with red hair, pale skin, and freckles suffer from a fictional disease called gingivitis. Cartman claims that gingers lack souls, smell bad, and are inherently different from others. His cruelty backfires when classmates dye his hair while he sleeps, leading him to believe he has become a ginger himself. From there, he forms a militant group of redheads who rise up against non-gingers, demonstrating how quickly prejudice can spiral into extremism. Although the episode's intent was to mock discrimination, its impact on real-life redheads was significant. Many children reported being bullied with the phrase, "You don't have a soul," after the episode aired. Musician Ed Sheeran later said the parody ruined his life during his youth, as peers repeatedly teased him about his hair color. Over time, however, Sheeran softened his stance. He admitted he still loved South Park and even expressed interest in voicing himself if ever parodied. His evolving reaction showed how the satire became part of his public identity, even when it caused personal difficulties. South Park may have bruised a lot of celebrity egos, but that's not the only shock the show has delivered. Some of their most outrageous jokes ended up becoming reality. Check out every South Park prediction that came true. Explain to see how often the show has been eerily accurate.